It's time. If you wanna be a champion, you gotta do the work. If you wanna be a world dominator, you gotta know your worth. Unleash potential and leave a legacy. Whatever you want, whatever you need, you can find within the coaching seat. If you wanna be a champion, you gotta do the work. If you wanna be a world dominator, you gotta know your worth. Unleash potential and leave a legacy. Whatever you want, whatever you need, you can find within the coaching seat.
Hello, everybody. I hope all is well. Y'all share this broadcast out. I am super excited to be here to talk about all things coaching, but specifically, we are talking about our ability to give feedback. Now, this is indeed a manager's edition, but I believe that this is going to help anyone and everyone who may work with people. Okay. And especially if you are in a situation where you need to be able to share feedback. So I am making sure my broadcast is out, and I do see that it is. Hello to everybody on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for those that are going to catch this replay. So again, thank you so much for joining tonight, you all. I'm super excited wrapping up this 3-part series on providing feedback. And as I said, this is the manager's edition. So let me go on and introduce myself, everybody. I am Toyinda Smith Carter. I am a best-selling author, a business consultant, master coach, corporate educator, and TEDx speaker. I'm also the principal of the Coaching Seat, and that's a learning and development firm in place to improve the employee experience and organization's effectiveness. And we also teach and train managers and people leaders to take a coaching approach to their direct reports. Additionally, we credential coaches. So I want to kind of break out the 2 populations of people that we work with. So we credential those who identify themselves as coaches, yet they may question their abilities due to a lack of formal training. So these are individuals who have self-identified as a coach. And so we really feel privileged to educate and certify individuals who are not credentialed. And what that does is it begins to enhance their credibility and also boost their confidence, their client base, and listen, their coin. Or if I can just remain professional, their earnings, their ability to generate revenue. All right. Also, that second population that we service are individuals who have completed coaching programs, but are maybe hesitant to start coaching due to insufficient technique. Okay. And so we're thankful for the chance to guide these certified coaches through our seats process for coaching. That's our coaching model. It's very structured, and it really does bring a level of confidence and control when you are coaching to help you to not be all over the place. So this really enables them to swiftly transform their knowledge into action. So it's all about taking what you learn and putting it into action. We also do some coaching training for managers and student affairs professionals as well. So I'm always super excited to expand in the coaching domain. I want to make sure you follow me on Clubhouse, Instagram, Twitter, I guess it's called X, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the Coaching Seat, so that you can take advantage of the free trainings and the free teachings that we deliver. I am going to get right into it. So for the past, I think maybe 3 weeks, I've skipped a week or two, but I've been talking about being able to provide feedback as a coach and how that's critical to help individuals grow and improve their performance. Also, effective feedback should be very constructive, clear, and actionable. And so what I did was I worked to prepare some steps, I'll call them steps, or an action plan for those who have to provide feedback, especially those who are working in organizations, especially those who are leading individuals and leading team members. Listen, as you join me tonight, just say hello to me so that I can properly speak to you. And then I want you to share this out, okay? What I talked about in the first session is to prepare for the feedback session. So I gave you like 3 points underneath that. So one is identify the purpose, gather the information, and consider the timing and the setting. The second point I gave you in part one is to establish a positive environment. Because that's going to build rapport and it's going to show empathy. Because when we provide feedback, what we want to do is be able to make sure that that environment is restored, because this is all about improving an individual so that the work that they're doing with you can be improved. It can be effective. You don't want to provide feedback that creates a negative and hostile work environment. So it's very important for the leader. It's important for the leader. Yes, we know that you're sitting in the big seat. Yes, we know that you're the GM. Yes, we know that you are the HRD. But I need you to understand that this is about helping individuals grow and improve their performance. You do not want to create a hostile work environment. All right. The third area that I talked about in part one is to be specific and objective. So here, the manager, the supervisor, you want to use clear examples and focus on behaviors and not personality. And it takes a mature adult, a very secure adult, in order to do that. Focus on the behavior and not personality. All right. So in part two, I gave you a model to help you move through being able to provide this effective feedback. If you're here with me, go on and just put a 1 in the chat and say, Toy, you know what? I'm following you. This makes sense. It's going to help my work environment really thrive. So part two, I gave you a model, and it was called the SBI model, which is situation, behavior, and impact. So when you're providing effective feedback, a model that can be used is the SBI model. If you can just drop that in the chat and help me to teach this content, I would really appreciate it. So situation, behavior, and impact. So that's a model that's going to help you to be very structured. We're not going to be all over the place. In our meetings, we're going to be very professional. Why? Because this is about improvement and growth. So situation, you're describing the situation where the behavior occurred. You are really looking at the behavior. So you're just describing the specific behavior that you observed, and then explaining the impact of the behavior. All right. That second point I gave you in part two was to encourage self-reflection. And this, I just asked you to use open-ended questions as you are moving through the conversation. And then that third suggestion I gave you for part two of providing feedback is to provide constructive feedback. So this is balancing the positive and the negative feedback. You've heard of like the sandwich method, right? Where you start off with something very positive, then you talk a little bit in the middle about, the concerns you may have, and then you end it with a very positive note. Okay, so that's an opportunity for you to provide that constructive feedback and then be very supportive. Why? Because you are the one that's leading the way, and this is all about growth and improvement. All right. So I am getting into the final part of providing feedback and being very sure and structured about it. So in part three, I'm going to give you three options or 3 areas that you can look at within this whole context. So you should have 9 steps, okay? You should have 9 steps overall. If you look at part 1, part 2, and this is part 3. So that's a very good training that you can find and replay on YouTube. So when we're providing this feedback, what we want to do is focus on solutions and actions. All right. This is like the 7th step. Focus on solutions and actions. And what this means is let's partner in with the person that we're providing the feedback for as a leader, as a manager, and collaborate on solutions. So here we're just simply working together to identify actions that we have to take in order to improve. It's very practical. Those things that are practical are practiced. I'm a person that I need practicality so that I can move it forward in excellence. All right, so here's an example. In future meetings, let's try to make sure everyone has a chance to speak. Perhaps you could take a step back after making your point and invite others to share their thoughts. So obviously, this may be somebody who was taking over a conversation. It was a team conversation happening, and this person was maybe taking over the conversation. All right. So here we're focusing on the solution and we're providing the action step. Another area for focusing on the solution and action steps is really setting clear goals. So here we want to establish clear, measurable goals for improvement. There is a leadership expert that says what gets measured gets managed. If I know that I am going to have another conversation with you about this, some type of evaluation about a behavior, then I'm going to work extra hard to try to get that accomplished, to improve in that space. So we set those goals and we establish measurable goals for improvement. And you want to ensure that the individual, the person that you're coaching, the person that you're working with, that they know what's expected and how progress will be measured. So it's very important for us to be very intentional and very structured when we're providing feedback. So this section is about focusing on solutions and action steps. Next, I want you to follow up. Come on. You are not too busy to sit back down with that individual that you probably put on a performance improvement plan. You are not too busy to sit down and talk to the person that you created a feedback loop with. No, you're not too busy. If you want to grow and if you want to improve your organization, you will create the time to help. So we want to follow up. So here it's very simple. We're just going to schedule a follow-up meeting. But you're going to plan this follow-up meeting to review the progress and provide additional feedback. So this reinforces accountability. And it shows that you're committed to the development of the individual. Next, in this same section of follow-up, it's providing ongoing support. So you as the leader, you're going to continue to offer support and encouragement to the individual as they're working on those improvement areas. Now, you might think this is coddling. You might think, hey, we paid them 6 figures. They should know what they should be doing. But listen to me. Just because they're not sitting in the seat that you're sitting in, it doesn't mean that they aren't equipped. We all have blind spots. We all have areas that we have to work through. And I'm all about continuous improvement. So as a leader, you have to take the time. As a manager, listen, as a parent, you have to take the time to continue to offer that support. You're going to say, well, I pay them. Okay. And take the time so that they can be retained. If you pay now, you prosper later. If you take the time now to sit with them, to provide this feedback, and it does not take long to provide this feedback for them, then the future them is going to be very productive for you. the future them, they're going to be able to bring their best self to the table, and you want them to always show up as their best self. All right. And then this last point that I want to make is to reflect on the feedback. Okay. I want you to reflect on the feedback. So that simply means nobody, oh, let me just keep going. I don't see any comments. I hope I'm live. Reflect on the feedback process. Okay. So this means that we're going to evaluate the effectiveness. What does that mean? I am reflecting on the session to identify what went well and what could be improved in the future. There's nothing wrong with that. And we can't always think that we got it right. Sometimes you have to sit back and say, all right, what did I do well and what could have been improved? And then seek feedback, which is a part of a phenomenal quality that a leader has. Ask the individual for feedback on how you delivered the feedback to them. And then that can help you to refine your approach and become more effective as a coach. All right. So, hey, Miss Carolyn, thank you so much for joining. So I believe I've hit those points. So again, this third part of providing feedback is number one, focus on the solution and action steps. Number two, follow up. And then number three, reflect. I'm going to go back to the top and I will run down all 9 of these critical steps that you can take. All right. Number one was prepare for the feedback session. Number 2 is establish a positive environment. Number 3 is be specific and objective. Number 4, use that SBI model, which is situation, behavior, impact. Number 5, encourage self-reflection. Number 6, go on and provide constructive feedback. Number 7 was today, focus on solutions and action steps. Number 8, follow up. Number 9, reflect on the feedback process. Listen, y'all, I'm super excited that you joined me today. I want to let you know that we have a coach certification program that is happening October 2nd through the 27th. You can go to my website, which is thecoachingseat.com, to get all of the information. I am looking forward to growing out the Champion Influence brand, specifically the Coach and Facilitator certification program. And I want you to know that we have 80 phenomenal coaches. And what makes me most excited about the coaches that have come into our program, and they are coaches and facilitators. So our program is unique. We certify you to be a coach and facilitator. So what I'm excited about the coaches and facilitators is that they started their consulting and coaching business. Some were able to use the coaching framework and coaching skills into what they're already doing. So specifically, we have about 7 mental health professionals who are certified coaches and facilitators. Some have started businesses, and then some are just using some of the coaching techniques as maintenance for the therapy that provides. So I'm super excited about that. We have educators in our certification program. We have a lot of ministers. I mean, I think about at least about 80%. I'm thinking about 80%. And I should probably say 90, but about 80% of our coaches are ministers and kingdom citizens. And so I'm super excited about it. So I want you to check out the program at thecoachingseat.com. I see your comment, Miss Carolyn. You need to know more about facilitating. Absolutely. And we do that because coaches are facilitators and they're also speakers. And then this last year, we understand that they're also authors. So we help them to produce a published work and then turn that published work into a signature talk so that they can create revenue. I'm super excited about where I am as we entered into August 1st. I just began to reflect, you all, about my experience first entering into the coaching, speaking, and training domain through the John Maxwell program. So to this month, August, makes 10 years for me being a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the Maxwell leadership team. That is where I got my start in August of 20. in August of 2014, that is when I got my start into this entire domain. And I'm so excited that I made the investment, because 10 years later, here we are. I have 3 books: the handbook to unleash your potential, the handbook to dominate your confidence, and the handbook to coach yourself. Our coaching certification and facilitation programs have been expanded to 80 coaches. We are international. We have coaches in the Bahamas. We have coaches in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm looking forward to more expansion. We've had opportunities to bring the coaching model and coaching skills inside of organizations, both higher education institutions and large-scale nonprofits. So I'm super excited that I made the investment back in 2014, and I didn't know where it was going to take me, but it's brought me here today, even 10 years later. I'm gonna look through my photos and make a couple posts, because I think that's pretty exciting. And I'm very grateful and thankful to the John Maxwell team and the faculty, and also Dr. Maxwell as well. Okay. Okay, Miss Carolyn, that's awesome. She says, I'm doing my first workshop in Charlotte on August 10th at Chosen City Church, but I'm going off of what God has said to do. Absolutely do that, and begin to make sure, Miss Carolyn, when you are facilitating, that you make sure you have a pathway to what you're going to do. One big thing that you want to do is always check for the learning. So you want to, after you finish maybe a section, you want to ask your participants, what were some of the aha moments, or what can they simply apply right now from what they learned, what they heard. And so that begins to check for engagement. It begins to check for whether they are tracking with you and whether they're really receiving and learning from what you're sharing. So my suggestion to you is just break up the sections and make sure you ask them what their takeaway is. And I think that's going to, as adults, for adults, they already bring, if you look at some of the pedagogy models, they're going to bring a series of learning, a series of experiences to the table. So you want to be able to bring that out while you're facilitating with them. So hopefully that helps you. I think if you do that, you will find more engagement happening while you're facilitating. So adults like to engage. They like to add their experiences in. And they need to know, how the learning is connecting to what they'll be able to do when they leave the classroom. I hope that helps. Awesome. Yeah, and I should pronounce it right, pedagogy. Because is it pedagogy? Pedagogy. I think it's pedagogy. Okay. So just pronouncing that right. I always get in trouble, y'all. I'm gonna work on it. All right. So Miss Carolyn says, oh, wow, what a blessing. That was a free tip for you. Yes, absolutely. You are so welcome. Absolutely. Hello, Lakeisha. Thank you for joining. Okay, you all, I want you to check my website out, www.thecoachingseat.com. Also, if you are in an organization, you're a manager, and you want to really begin to take a coaching approach, because coaching is a communication style, coaching is a leadership style, and coaching is a conflict resolution style. And if you want those skill sets, I want you to go to my website and just click on the leadership training and coaching. Click that link and fill out my consultation form, and we can connect and talk about how I may be of service to your organization. All right. And then for everybody else out there, we have a coach certification program, and it's happening October 2nd through 27th of this year, of course. And it is going to be awesome and amazing. Well, I am Coach Toyinda Smith Carter. I have enjoyed my time with you. This is really a part of my happy place. Ministry is also my happy place, but this is also a part of my happy place. And so I'm so honored to be able to come and share with you all. Make sure you share this broadcast, and we are getting ready to check out.
It's time. If you wanna be a champion, you gotta do the work. If you wanna be a world dominator, you gotta know your worth. Unleash potential and leave a legacy. Whatever you want, whatever you need, you can find within the coaching seat. If you wanna be a champion, you gotta do the work. If you wanna be a world dominator, you gotta know your worth. Unleash potential and leave a legacy. Whatever you want, whatever you need, you can find within the coaching seat.
All right, y'all, don't forget to join our text community. Just text the word "the coaching seat" at the number 833-567-4252. Text the word "the coaching seat," no spaces. That word belongs together, the coaching seat. 833-567-4252. All right, y'all, I'll see you later.